Hear ye, hear ye. Court is now in session. That's right. In addition to me being a college football professor connoisseur through Athens University, I am also a judge and an executioner of the way college football should be and anybody that's causing future atrocities to our great illustrious college football histories. And today, class, I don't have a lot of these court sessions. I don't hold a lot of courts, but I used to do it a lot on Facebook Live. But today is a special case that we're going to have court. And that session involves one Eddie Ogre from those LSU Tigers. But before I get into why Eddie's on trial for being atrocious, I would like to ask you guys and gals to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Subscriptions are always most important. It keeps me up and going and brings in more of those common Joes and common Sallys in the know, even more so than those media talking heads. Brings more of y'all in so we can get more of your great opinions, because in the end, that's all that really matters. So let's get right to it. Eddie Ogre today is on college football trial because the man wants a pass because he won a national championship. And normally I would say, you know what? That is some good collateral to have in your backpack there, Eddie, to keep you tied over and maybe give you a few mulligans. But if the mulligan's so bad, if it's like if you hit a ball out of play into the rough a little bit, that's one thing. But Eddie hit the ball into the rough, over the fence, into the woods, into the ditch, into the gully, into the sewer. He went from being a national champion to being 5-5. Now, like I said, they lost a lot of people. I understand that. They lost Joe Burrow. They lost a lot of people on the offense. They lost their defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda. They lost Joe Brady, who I think was the most important loss for him. But there's other great coaches out there. There's Ryan Day. There's Dabo Swinney. There's Nick Saban. All these coaches have to deal with staff turnover year in and year out. Now, granted, they may have not lost both coordinators in 1 year, although Saban got pretty close to that many times. They still are able to recover in a manner as to not really embarrass themselves and to look like a one-hit wonder. And that's basically what you have come down to, Eddie. See, Eddie was average before Joe Brady and Joe Burrow. And now that they've left, Eddie is average once again, maybe even below average. You can't go from winning a national championship and go 5-5, in my opinion, no matter what happens. If they went 7-3, I could have stomached that. But there's no excuse for going 5-5 after winning the national championship if you're not a one-hit wonder and if you don't have a special bunch of guys that basically cover for the fact that you're not really a good coach. You just like to run your mouth. You like to say cute little things, and it's all cute, just like the whole Les Miles thing when you used to eat the grass until they start losing. And we all know that Eddie Ogre was not supposed to be the coach in the first place. So people was like, oh, he was a homegrown boy, he's a native Louisiana, and we want him to have the job. That's a line of bullshit. Straight up. They did not fire Les Miles to bring Ed Orgeron in, a guy that was a terrible failure at Ole Miss. Don't tell me they let Les Miles go to get an Ole Miss retread, because if you try to sell me that line of bullshit, then I've lost all respect for you as well. That job was supposed to go to Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher, if y'all want to be mad at somebody, you need to be mad at Jimbo Fisher because he misled LSU and made them think that he was going to take that job. Now, he can deny it all he wants, but LSU wouldn't have went out and got rid of Les Miles, who had won like 70% of his games, maybe even 80% of his games, if Jimbo didn't give them some inclination that he was going to come to LSU. And then, of course, Jimbo stuck it to him, and he didn't come to LSU. And then he ended up at Texas A&M, one of LSU's SEC West rivals. So if y'all want to be pissed off at somebody for all this, it ain't all Eddie Ogre's fault. Some of it lies with Jimbo Fisher for basically just lying about his intentions. But in my opinion, and I know y'all gonna say this is knee-jerk reaction, if you go 5-5 after winning national championship, and then the seasons before it you were average, I think it speaks to that LSU is too good for this, and they need to go out and hire a great coach like they were trying to do with Jimbo Fisher, and they can do that. They can do that. LSU has the most national championships, only second to Alabama this century. So don't sell yourself short, LSU. Don't continue to put up with this court gesture, this guy that got lucky 1 year because he just happened to have Joe Brady and Joe Burrow on the same team. Go out and get you a better coach. Don't worry about people saying it's a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, poor old Eddie. He's a good old all shucks boy that says a bunch of trashy shit, and it's okay because it's all cute because he's winning. Go out and get you a great coach. LSU deserves a great coach. LSU's traditions, maybe not, they're not on the par with the Alabamas and the Ohio States of the world, but they're right there. LSU deserves a better coach, and that's the bottom line here. Y'all can whine and complain and saying that we're having a knee-jerk reaction all you want. They deserve a better coach, and they can get a better coach than Ed Orgeron. I think there's plenty of candidates out there that would be more than happy to come to LSU. And that's all I got to say about that. You guys and gals, drop it in the comment section. Tell me if you think this is an overreaction, or tell me if you think that it's a tough decision that LSU needs to make and should make. And with that, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.